Hi, hello, this is Oshuma. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Come in, sit down, feel safe, and let's get into it. I want to preface by saying that this is not a bashing video of Chrisean Rock or Blueface. This is to bring awareness through a one-case analysis of children who have to deal with the aftermath of parental addiction and incarceration. This is also in no way absolving her from any other things that she has decided to do. She is a grown adult at the end of the day. This is a story of choosing wisely who you decide to have kids with and holding yourself accountable. I would also like to mention that these two have shared their whole lives and monetized it for public entertainment. Since they are sharing the very facet of their life and is willing to expose every bit of it for profit, is it fair to say that the public can comment and speak on it? They even have the right and reserve the right to have the ability to voice that they no longer want to share certain parts of them. But when you are continuously going online and exposing yourself, then it's leaving you open to public discussion. The reason why I'm so interested in making a video to break down the behavior of Chrisean Rock is because, let's be honest, we have seen a lot of girls like Chrisean Rock. I don't know about you, but I'm from around the way. Like Denzel said, I'm from around the way, okay? And so I didn't leave the hood until I was in middle school. I would say actually going on into high school. So I'm very familiar with the Chrisean Rocks. I'm very familiar with the Bluefaces. I'm very familiar with the Sexy Reds. So I always have an interesting to ask, okay, well, this person is this way, let me learn more. Why are you this way? And so I really want to make it a point to make the public realize that the Sexy Reds and Chrisean Rock have always existed in our community. They have always been there. The thing that's occurring now is that due to social media and due to the accessibility of creating platforms as well, for example, Zeus Network is an independent TV network that was started by a black male. Now that, even though Zeus Network is the way that it is, that is actually revolutionary and groundbreaking in this era, because there's not a lot of black owned networks that are able to pull the numbers that they're pulling. The issue is the content that they're creating. So we've always had the Sexy Reds, we've always had the Chrisean Rocks and Bluefaces in our community, but until now we are finally seeing in front of our faces, and we can't just ignore it, that, oh, okay, so this is a part of our community, this is looking like it's going to be a problem in the future. What do we need to do? And what's interesting is, in the beginning, Chrisean Rock and Blueface were supported heavily. It is until people realize that this was not a joke. Like, these people are not joking. This is like for sure serious. They're literally just the way that they are, and they're inting it up for the cameras. That's when I think the public started realizing, okay, like, this is becoming a problem. We need to address it. What's going on? So I would like to say, before you enter this video, come in with an open mind. I'm not trying to convince you that Chrisean Rock is a good person. I'm not trying to convince you that she's a bad person. What I want you to take from this video is the outcomes that happen when there is a lack of parental figures in the black community. This is going to be different from my regular videos, the behavioral analysis of what it means to be a celebrity as it pertains to Chrisean Rock. I talk a lot about celebrity gossip, though I try to keep an atmosphere of neutrality. I have life experiences that have shaped my perspective. So is it safe to say that there might be unintentional biases? Yes. But I make it a point to recognize that behavior and reassess those thoughts and feelings. I know that I can offer more than just coming on here and constantly talking about whatever opinion I have at the moment. I want to talk about this topic within the realms of a little bit of, scientific concepts, while adding social commentary from the perspective of a consumer of entertainment and media. What does fame mean? Fame is a state of being known or talked about by many different people, especially on account of notable achievements. So now, what I want to get into is that, based on some of the things that Chrisean Rock has said in the past, I have reason to believe that this is clearly being done to garner as much attention as she can in the public eye, because she's always wanted to be famous. She has gone on record to state this, and I have proof that I'm going to embed in the video, so please follow along and we're going to get down to this. So the one scientific field that I want to use is called applied behavioral analysis. Now, what is applied behavioral analysis? Applied behavioral intervention that applies empirical approaches based on the principles of respondent and operant conditioning to change behavior. So basically what it means is it is a method of intervention that uses evidence-based practices to change behavior. So starting with Chrisean Rock, I want to analyze behaviors one can observe and measure, and what elicits the behaviors, what are the behaviors, and what consequences maintain the behaviors of Chrisean Rock. I'm going to start off with her familial background. All of the information that I am stating is from an interview she had with the Shade Room. In this interview, she says that she always knew she wanted to be behind the camera and was a theater kid. Hold on to that thought, it's important. Her real name is Chrisean Malone, not Chrisean Rock. She grew up alongside 12 siblings. Her parents have 13 kids in total. Chrisean's father was in prison for most of her life and her mother an addict. Not having the father around and with the mother's habits, they became homeless a few times. She said she was homeless from age 9 to 18 years of age. She states that her father came out of jail at 7, and she goes on to say a very contradicting statement about her dad keeping stability, but not really. It was her mom that did. Despite this, she started running track at 12 years old and competed in the junior athletes at 17. That's a lot of potential and a lot of hope for a good future, right? Though she had a promising career in track, making her way to becoming a D1 track star, but ended going to a 2-year college but didn't like college. In this interview specifically, she goes on to explain how her dad would take her mom to the woods and beat her up. When I'm literally talking about on some like weird, creepy, like tie her up to some, tree trunks and beat her up. Now, I don't know to what validity these stories are. This is her first, experience encounter. And as somebody who has had to witness this as a kid, I do not want to discredit or disclaim what she is saying. What I'm saying is this is what she's telling us as per her view and what she witnessed as a kid. So this causes a rift between her and her parents, obviously. So she would spend most of her time away from home as possible. She would hang out with the other kids' parents that were part of her track teams. She then gets emotional about her religion when the interviewer talks about how spiritual she is, stating that she talks to God a lot. As the interview progresses, she goes further into the relationship dynamic with her mother. She explains how she has been the one to take on the parental role in the relationship. She literally says, "My mom is like a kid to me." This is usually the case for children who grew up with addicted parents. This causes emotions of resentment, feeling burdened and neglected. Furthermore, she shares with the interviewer that she has poured resources into getting her mother help. Popping off on social media and gaining traction in the media. And as we know, the Shade Room is a blog room that is very heavily popular on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So basically, to summarize, she comes from a household of two parents who should have never really had kids. So, what propels Chrisean Rock into these self-destructive, physically aggressive, and emotionally unstable behaviors? Based on what Chrisean has shown, I believe that she thrives off of drama and is addicted to it. This feeds into her need to be famous and known by others. To her, this is the art performance of a lifetime. As long as it keeps her in the media, pair that with monetary gain, and it is a very much horrible cocktail for disaster. Remember when I told you in the video, she goes on to state she has always wanted to be on TV and was a theater kid. I believe Chrisean is obsessed with media attention because it offers that little girl whose mother wasn't around to foster her into adulthood, may not have felt heard, and had to endure emotional and mental neglect, is finally giving her the attention she's always craved. Now, we'll do whatever it takes to continue being in front of a camera despite her life spiraling out of control. In applied behavioral analysis, there is this method called the ABC method of observing and analyzing behavior. A represents the antecedent, B represents the behavior, and C represents the consequences. And an antecedent is something that comes before a behavior and may trigger that behavior. Behavior is an observable and measurable action. The consequence is what happens or takes place after the behavior occurs. These are concepts based on the study of applied behavioral analysis. So the first two behaviors that I want to talk about is the self-destructiveness and the physical aggression. So the antecedent of both of these are going to have to be the presence of cameras for me, because even though we have heard that Chrisean is a fighter, we haven't heard to where she's had a fight off of camera or off of stage. It seems like the only time she ever wants to actually go on ahead and use violence is when she knows that she is going to gain some sort of attention from it and use that attention to be able to use it for profit and monetary gain, right? So the self-destructiveness is knowing that you have so much going on in your life, but yet you have all these resources that are able to help you, resources that are going to help you take you out of the situation that you're currently in, yet you refuse to use it, and you want to keep on interjecting yourself in the same situation over and over and over again. Because guess what? If she were able to go to therapy, get her life together, and actually learn to have a healthy relationship with media and social media, she would not be getting as much traction and attention that she is getting right now, because from the beginning of her career, it has been known that for Chrisean to get a certain type of attention, it is always when it comes to a certain behavior. The behavior is never positive. We weren't introduced to Chrisean Rock as this nice little dainty little girl. That we were introduced to Chrisean Rock first as well. So who's this new chick on the scene who is a damn near the time of a D1 athlete who is now attached to this rapper. And one of the first things that got Chrisean into the limelight, yeah, we knew about her a little bit before she got into her altercations, but one of the biggest things that she gets, and one of the biggest ways that she gets press, is through all the drama. And the drama that she produces is never positive. The drama her and Blueface produces is never positive. So as time went on, the only way that you're getting attention is by causing a scene, is by doing negative behaviors such as being physically aggressive towards others, and you're getting rewarded by doing something that you always wanted to do, which was be behind a camera, right? So the antecedent for this behavior, of self-destructiveness and physical aggression is the presence of a camera. The behavior, of course, is self-destruction and physical aggression, and the consequences of that is that she gets the attention that she desires along with the monetary gain. But we know above all that the most important thing to Chrisean Rock is the attention, because if she really was in this for monetary value, she would have never signed the rights to her checks to Blueface. She wants the attention of Blueface most of all, because let's be honest, without this pairing of her and Blueface, mind you, we're still going to root for Chrisean, believe it or not. There are a lot of people that are rooting for Chrisean, and I feel like if she is able to balance her social media presence with gaining more stability to help her child, she will still have a profitable career. Now, will it be to at the extent of her being as much in the media now? I believe Blueface and Chrisean Rock has broken the fifth wall to where now they are a living, moving, breathing embodiment of reality TV show, and it's happening in the tabloids gives us live action updates. That's just how I see it. Now here comes along a rapper, right, who has the #1 hit in America, Tatiana. Yeah, that song was everywhere. And so you have this rapper that's giving you attention, right? So he's held at a certain status at this point, right? Because before Chrisean Rock became Chrisean Rock, she was Chrisean Malone. So to get the attention that she wanted, she had to attach herself to Blueface. Now when she attached herself to Blueface, she had to maintain that relationship to continue to get to where she needed to be. So what ended up happening is she was willing to sign over her check. She was willing to sign over her royalties over to him. Now the thing is, right, when she signed this over to him, it was to be able to get his attention. Chrisean is still operating from the place of that broken little girl. Chrisean is operating from when she was little and she had to witness her mom and dad live through what they lived through, and being a homeless child, I think she's still operating from that space of being a broken little girl. This is not to absolve her from any of the things that she has done. Like I said, Chrisean Rock is not innocent in this situation. Chrisean Rock is one of those girls who had to grow up fast, who thinks that they know everything about the world until they hit a rock bottom and everything has to come smacking them in the face with reality. And so she has the money now, she has the fame now, but her life is in a downward spiral. But it's so addicting to her that she doesn't know when to stop. With her need for constant attention and constant validation, I believe at the beginning of her and Blueface's relationship, that's what she got. He loved to bomb her. He gave her probably lots of gifts, traveled with her, put her up on game in regards to being in the inside of the industry. So that is something that is going to woo her, that is going to wow her, because she comes from a place where she was practically struggling. And so to be in the limelight in space of stars that are, worth, a certain amount of money, that have a certain amount of fame, that have the level of, celebrity and success that she would want to have, I could see how this enamored her. And it basically was like, whoa, am I actually finally here? Am I actually going to make it? And so the more and more she got into these spaces and into these situations, the more she became comfortable with how Blueface was operating with her. And when she realized that, wait a minute, this is damn near a PIMP and prostitute like situation. What is happening here? What is going on? And I think that is the first time that she began to open her eyes and realize, hold up, wait, something here is not adding up. And when that whole situation happened of, him having the rights to all her money and all that stuff, I believe she knew then that she had to navigate that situation in a way to be able to regain leverage to then gain back her rights to her money. And then now it's like, okay, so you go over here to your baby mother, but I'm the one that's making us all the money. Without me, you don't get the attention that you're looking after, because nobody's checking for you as a rapper. People are going to check for Chrisean Rock from Baddies East. People are going to check for Chrisean Rock that has interviews with, the Shade Room and other media platforms, who's in the tabloids, who's in vlogs all day. And the only time you, Blueface, is in the media is when you're attached to me. Now I'm the most famous one and I have the most leverage. And this is not to mean that she wants to end the situation with Blueface in regards to her realizing that she needs to get out of the situation. The situation that I mean is that she understands by Blueface having all of her money, she is completely dependent on Blueface. And so if she's completely dependent on Blueface, that means Blueface can go out there and do whatever that is that he wants. He can mess around with his baby mother. He can go out and mess with other girls. And knowing Chrisean Rock, she said this very much creepy phrase one time in an interview that she said to Blueface while she was sitting next to him, and that's when I realized that she is just as toxic as this man is.
It wasn't intentional. You should see my house. It's crazy.
Yeah, I be that because he be getting me up. He be trying to kick me out, and I be like,
busted.
it's only me trying to kick me out, Johnny.
So what y'all doing? So are y'all going to a club or something or no?
Oh God, somebody get me out of this.
And it's gotten to the point where both of them are the narcissistic supply. I believe that, now mind you, now this is my opinion, I am not a psychological professional, I am not a therapist, but just from my observation, I believe that both of them are in a narcissistic abuse relationship. They're both narcissists and they're both are each other's supply. So if one of them were to leave, that means the other doesn't have the supply to quote unquote continue the abuse. I think what this is, there's a term called reactive abuser, where once a person has gone through certain things, and mind you, I'm not saying that, Blueface is the one that started the actual physical hitting, because like I said, we see that Chrisean is very volatile and very quick to use her hands. I think what might have happened is that through the emotional and mental abuse of being in that type of dynamic of, Blueface, of her being so dependent on Blueface, as time progressed, she began to have reactive, abusive reactions as well, and she began to initiate and take part in the abuse as well, meaning that now if you're going to do this to me, then I'm going to go and do it to you too. Another behavior that I feel like Chrisean has is oppositional defiant disorder. Chrisean has oppositional defiant disorder. She's the type of girl where you can tell her something is destructive for her 1,000,000 times, 1,000 times over, and she will not listen due to a lack of having that parental guide and authoritative figure throughout her life, right? So she's the type of person that will say that she wants to live on her own terms. It appears that the career path that Chrisean Rock wants to take is to become a reality TV star, gain as much stability as she can within the industry and a footing as much as she can. But I think what's happening is the lack of nurturing in her background and lack of guidance has really caused this to be a very slippery slope for her. Her attachment with Blueface was to get her music career to a certain space. She has been on Baddie East as well. One of her things that she is known for on Baddie East is to have fights with the other cast members. She is known as one of the most notorious cast members on Baddie East. She basically runs the show at this point. That's how much leverage that she has with Zeus Network, because people tune in to see her when she is on Baddie East. And she also has a show with Blueface on Zeus Network about their personal lives and all of that stuff, right? So I think what she wanted to do was get all of this attention, get all of this, what they call it, fame, and then transfer that onto her music career. But to be honest with you, I think it's going down a path to where it's a point of no return, and that it's going to be impossible to get to the level of career that it is that she wants. This is not like as if she went through a certain route to where capable of being rebranded. And I think that a rebrand for Chrisean is going to be so hard at this point that she's going to have to just disappear for a while and then come back in and reintroduce herself as Chrisean Malone as opposed to Chrisean Rock. But I think that her insatiable need to be in front of the camera and to have constant validation and constant reassurance of attention it's not going to be possible for her because, like I said, she is addicted to this. And that's the one thing. Once you pair something that gives you a sense of belonging, a sense of importance, that stimulates your brain in a certain way, and then that is on top of that paired with monetary gain or a sense of reward system, it's going to be hard for her to get out of that mindset. It's going to have to take her realizing how detrimental that this is to her and her child to eventually get the help that she needs. This is a part of the video where I have to say allegedly. So based on the words of the father of her child, states that there was some usage of illegal substances along with liquor during the pregnancy, and that is why their child has some deformity. I cannot confirm nor, deny this. All I'm saying is, if this is the truth, this further on shows how bad it is that she is in a hole. I mean, she's also doing all of this alongside with having an addiction. This child life is at genuine risk, and somebody needs to step in within her family and come in and help. But if this is true that she is on a substance, I do not think that Chrisean has the ability to care for her child right now. And with her just having this child and having to go through all this, there's a possibility of having postpartum, depression, and other things that might be going on. So I think it's best that somebody steps in sooner than later, and because it gives so much attention, it is also very profitable. I would also like to say that there was a video of Chrisean Rock smoking marijuana, as I would like to call it, on video as she was, pregnant. So is it out of far left field to say that there's a possibility that she was using alcohol during her pregnancy? I'm not saying it's fact, but the thing is, I'm not going to deny it either, because we did see her smoke illegal substance while being pregnant on video. So this is something that she herself invited, and in a rumor that she herself invited by posting a video of her doing that while on social media. And alongside this, the picture that was blasted on social media by the father of her child and the health conditions that the baby may have. And when you look into the background of infant hernia, especially in the placement that it is, at times it can be due to substance abuse. And so, like I said, when it comes to these celebrities, it is the media attention that fuels and is the source for this. So when you mix Chrisean's explosive personality with her need to be in front of a camera, along with either if it's a controlled substance, pharmaceuticals, or some other, form of paraphernalia, I do believe that it is going to affect her decision-making skills. Now, Chrisean is a full-grown adult. She is independent of her own, but I don't think, at this current moment, I do not think that Chrisean Rock has the capability to make decisions that are wise enough to be nurturing towards a child. And it's almost as if she doesn't have an attachment to her child as well. I've actually felt this when I see the videos of her with her child, along with it being something that other people have seen as well, that they have commented on. So maybe she has not connected to her child enough for that motherly instinct to kick in, because a lot of people, once they are in relationships that are DV, they tend to have kids, and then once they have kids, they realize how dangerous it is to be in that type of environment and how it's going to affect their kids, and therefore they leave. Chrisean has yet to make the actual full decision to just drop Blueface and move on with her life and try to give her child a better life. She has allowed him to re-enter into her child's life and continuously perpetuate just very much weird and odd behaviors. And now Chrisean, she is not without fault herself. Chrisean Rock has a very volatile personality. It's not something that I'm just saying. It's something that we have observed from her behavior and how she talks, how she interacts with people, and how she interacts with the world around her. Very much short-fused, can be set off very quick, and she doesn't have enough capacity to be able to self-regulate to where she's not putting her hands on people, to where she's not being a drunk mess or being completely volatile. Like I said, it's not just me saying things out of my mouth that I did not witness. We have seen this woman drunk on television fighting her significant other, her sister, his parents, and everybody else. With Chrisean being the new face on the social media scene to gain attention, Blueface was an upcoming rapper who basically had one hit, which was something along the lines of Buzz Down Tatiana. That song was everywhere. So what I think happened is that Chrisean Rock was the prey that became the predator. Blueface is known to associate himself with a gang called the Crips. Blueface also grew up in a family that has history to the streets, that has tight history to the streets, and his dad, I believe, or somebody within his family was a pimp. Now, I'm going to go into his background as well, his career and his upbringing, because I do think what needs to happen is for people to learn from how these people came together that were hella broken, and that had certain aspects about their life that they had not treated, that they had not gone to therapy for, that they had still, bubbled under. What fame did to it was bring it to the top, bubble it, and now it's sizzling over, and we're just seeing their demons played out on the screen. While most people go through this, in their hometown, they might get some hometown scrutiny, they might get some scrutiny in their family. What's happening now is that they're having it in front of the public eye. Now, why do I say the prey becoming predator? Blueface has a very much pimp mentality. So we learned that most of Chrisean's earnings and profits were being given to Blueface because it was under his name. The way that she got her checks deposited was under Blueface's name. So therefore, Blueface, right? So she would go out, do the work, and then Blueface would get paid for it, and then she would basically get taken care of by Blueface. That is 101 pimping. That is the very relationship dynamic between a pimp and a prostitute, right? Now, I'm not saying that Chrisean was going around sleeping with this person and that person, but what Chrisean was doing was exploiting herself, her personality, and who she was, and destroying her image in the public eye for profit, and then giving it over to Blueface. Recently, they got into another spout because Blueface wanted her to once again relinquish her rights to her, checks and put it under his name. Which is a funny thing because right before then, Blueface was working with his other baby mother, Jaden, in a music career. And I believe what happened is once he saw that wasn't taking off and realized that Chrisean Rock was where the money was where the butter and cheese was, he wanted at all costs to try and gain back control. And unfortunately, their child became the casualty between this very clownish Tom and Jerry type of behavior. Now, Chrisean being from the hood and having to grow up in this very harsh background, I wouldn't be surprised if she is always in a survivor's mentality. Even if it means that she has to play victim to garner sympathy, to then save her image so that she can continue and get the media press that she needs to further her career. Because let's be honest, Chrisean Rock is not the easiest person to get along with. It doesn't seem to be like the person where you could have a conversation with her and it can be level-headed. I believe that Chrisean Rock and Chrisean Malone are two different people. Along the line, somehow Chrisean Malone got blended in with Chrisean Rock, and she's trying to find a way back into knowing how to separate that. But it's gone so long to the point where she's been living as Chrisean Rock for so long, especially under the influence, that she no longer can differentiate who is which. This concludes the video. Tell me what you think. Comment down below. Give me your perspective and your thoughts and ideas on this topic. And please make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. Toodles!